Amazon Cognito gives us a set of custom attributes like name, email, phone number, etc. out of the box. But what if your application needs something more, like a subscription tier, organization ID, or any business-specific fields? This is where custom attributes come in. In this video, I'll show you how to add custom attributes in Amazon Cognito user pool and make them available as token claims that your applications can use. Hello everyone, my name is Rahul and welcome back to this YouTube channel. If you're new here, I make videos on .NET, Cloud, and DevOps. This video is part of my Amazon Cognito series and thanks to AWS for sponsoring it. With custom attributes in Amazon Cognito, you can add up to 50 of them to your user pool. Now, one thing to note is that once you add them, you cannot remove or change the name of the property. You can add a claim as mutable or immutable. So by immutable, you cannot change it once the user is first created. However, mutable attributes you can change throughout the lifetime of your user, which makes it more easier if you have specific fields that needs to be updated throughout their lifetime. So let's head off to the AWS console to see how to add custom attributes. So here in our user pool, we can navigate to the Sign Up tab where you have the attributes listed. Now in the section Custom Attributes, we can start adding the attribute. So let's click Add Custom Attribute and let's add our first attribute. Let's specify this as the field subscription, which indicates what the subscription tier of this specific user is. Now, this might be free, basic, premium, etc. for our weather API servers. Now, this is just an example. So depending on your application, you might have different attributes. Now, let's leave this as a string field. Now, the supported fields through the UI are string and number. However, as in the documentation, you can also use Boolean and datetime if you're using the API to create it. However, one thing to note is that the Cognito writes all the claims values as strings. So let's keep this as a string and let's leave the minimum and maximum option as optional. Now, so this by default sets it to 2048 as the maximum length. Now, since this tier can change throughout their lifetime, like a user can move from free to a premium subscription, etc. and also come back, let's leave this as mutable. So let's click Save Changes. This is going to create a new attribute, custom subscription under our user pool. Now, if we navigate to the existing users in this pool, so let's navigate to the Gmail user, we can see this property is not currently set. Now, if you want to add that to this user, you can click Edit and also have this attribute added. So let's click Add Attribute and let's choose Custom Subscription. Now, in this case, let's specify the value as premium and let's click Save Changes. Now, this is going to add this attribute to this specific user. Now, let's go to the app client, which we have already set up. Let's go to the web app and let's navigate to the View Login page. Now, in this application, we had already set up for it to allow the scope of profile. Now, when you do this, all the custom attributes by default comes into your ID token. Now, if we navigate back into our app client, we set that up in the login pages and we set up the scopes in profile. I walk you through this in a video on OIDC scopes and Cognito, which will be linked here and also in the descriptions below. Now, let's continue on with the login. So let's use the new email address that we specified the attribute for and let's log in. Yeah. Now, once we log in, we get redirected to our code. Now, let's exchange this for a token. So let's use Postman for that, paste in the code, and let's click Send. Now, this is going to return back the token. So let's examine the ID token in this case. So let's copy this. Let's navigate to jwt.io and let's paste this in here. And you can see the custom subscription, which is set to premium value here. Now, we've already got access to the claims by default because we've used the profile scope. Now, if I was to navigate and log in again, so let's click View Login page. And if we were to remove the profile from the scope, so let's do that. And let's sign in again, exchange this code again for a token. And let's examine this access code token. So let's switch back into jwt.io. Let's paste this in here. And in this case, you can see that the subscription claim is not part of our claims. This is because we didn't specify the profile attribute. However, with the previous token that we copied, the custom subscription is only available as part of our ID token, which means if this value is to be used in our application server, this will not be part of our access token. Now, we saw how to set up a pre-generation Lambda trigger in a last video to inject in tokens to the access token. So we can use a similar mechanism and inject in the customer subscription to the access token as well. So let's switch over to Visual Studio where we have the application open. Here we have the Cognito token generation Lambda function, which we set up in a previous video to modify the generated token. Now, in this specific case, we injected the birth date into the access token. Now, similarly, you can copy and paste this, and you can replace this to also inject this new property. So in this case, this would be reading the custom subscription, and we can use that to inject. So let's replace this birth date to be subscription. Let's rename this as subscription, and let's make sure we are injecting that value inside the claim. Now we can also specify the properties to be subscription. So let's also modify this comment to say add subscription comment. Let's also make sure that the value that we are setting up is for subscription. So here we are reading the user attributes from the request with the property custom subscription, and we are injecting that into the token claims to be overridden for the generated access token. Now, once we have set this up, let's make sure to deploy this to our Lambda function. So let's say publish to Lambda. So let's upload this. Now I have a complete video in this series where I show you how to set up this Lambda trigger and also associate with your Amazon Cognito user pool. Now with the Lambda function deployed, let's navigate back. Let's log in once more to our login page. We have the profile scope included. So let's sign in and let's exchange this for a token again. So we are getting an ID token and access token. Now let's copy this access token from here and let's paste this in our jwt.io. And here you can see that we have the subscription property, which is setting up to premium. Now, in this case, what's happened whenever we log in and before the token is generated, our Lambda function is triggered using the extensions and the pre-token generation Lambda trigger. Now, if we switch over to AWS Lambda and navigate to our monitor this Lambda function and look at the CloudWatch logs, you will be able to see this specific request for token exchange coming in here. Now, let's navigate to the latest log stream. And in this case, you can see the incoming event is coming with the birth date, email, Cognito user status, and also custom subscription. Now, what we did is extract this value from the request and inject this back into the response. Now, you can also control which attributes are getting access to which app client. So if we navigate to an app client and go into attribute permissions, you can set up the read-write permissions of different attributes. In this case, you can also set up the permissions on the custom subscription, and you can set up whether it has read attribute or write permissions. Now, if you untick write, this means this application cannot update this property. Now, if you take off the read, this will no longer show up in the claims as well. Now, if you have various custom attributes and different applications and you want to control access to different sets of attributes, you can use this to map out which application gets access to which attributes. You can also do this for the default scopes that's available from OIDC. Now that we have the token in the access token, you can use this in your application code to check for claims. We've already seen that in the age requirement example where we read the attribute value from the claims. So instead of using the claim types, you will have to use a string and specify subscription as the property. I will leave that as an exercise for you. However, in these scenarios, our requirements are very simple and the program.cs that sets up the policies are also straightforward. In this case, we only have one or two requirements. However, in real-world applications, the permission scope, the permissions, and the required handlers are much more complex. In a future video, we will take these policy setup to the next level. We will see having multiple requirements, and also we'll see the cases where a single requirement has multiple handlers and how to set this up in ASP.NET Core. If you want to be notified when that video comes out, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. It also helps me to grow this YouTube channel. Thank you and see you soon in the next video.